After years of speculation and being one of the best goalkeepers in the world, it looks like David De Gea may finally be leaving Manchester United. If he lets his contract run out and apparently moves to PSG, well, United are going to be in need of a new number one. So that's what I'm going to do today. Give you 5 options of the best replacements for David De Gea at Manchester United. Up first is Keylor Navas. Now, a few years ago, if you had told Manchester United fans that Keylor Navas would be moving to Old Trafford, they would have probably said that it was in some sort of swap deal with David De Gea. Basically, the Spanish goalkeeper was linked with Real Madrid for so long, it looked inevitable that he was going to end up there. But even though David De Gea is still at Old Trafford, it has meant that Keylor Navas has finally moved down the pecking order at Real Madrid. Navas has been part of the Real Madrid team that has won 3 back-to-back European titles, and to be honest, they're probably the best team of the decade. To say he's a bad goalkeeper is pretty ridiculous. Yes, he's not the name that some others in the world are, but he's still a phenomenal keeper and will still do an unbelievable job at Manchester United. As mentioned before, he's more than likely to be on the bench more often than not, as Thibaut Courtois looks to be the future of Real Madrid, certainly in net. So Navas could do no worse than moving to Old Trafford to get some game time. Our second option on this list is Gigi Donnarumma from AC Milan. The 19-year-old was involved in a massive contract dispute last season, however managed to sort things out with the club and has now signed a new deal up to 2021. However, that being said, he's represented by super agent Mino Raiola, which basically means any transfer is possible. He's currently valued at around 40 million euros, but will probably end up going for more than that. However, should Raiola broker a deal that sees him move to Old Trafford, he'll then have to work with one of his other clients, Sergio Romero, to get him a move away from Manchester United. Although Romero is currently injured and missed the World Cup because of injury, it doesn't look like he'll be challenging the spot anyway should De Gea leave. This means that someone like Donnarumma could come in, and no matter the outlay for Manchester United, much like with Kasper at Chelsea, Donnarumma will be the number one for potentially 10 years or more, so any sort of money at this stage is definitely going to be worth it when you break it down over the years of service they'll get, much like with David De Gea over the last 8 or 9 years. Plus, add into the mix that Raiola already has good Manchester United connections after he brought Lukaku and Pogba to the club, this one seems more than likely. In at number 3 is someone who's massively underrated, but that's purely because he just does not play enough. He moved to Barcelona in 2016 and since then has played 2 league games. 2 league games in 2.5 years. Yes, he's played most of the games in the Copa del Rey, which they've won back-to-back, but for Jasper Cillessen, this just is not good enough. He's Holland's number 1 and clearly a fantastic goalkeeper, so he deserves more minutes for the sake of his own career. Let's be honest, he's never going to beat out competition from Marc-Andre ter Stegen in goal for Barcelona, so he could do no worse than moving to the Premier League and pulling on the gloves for Manchester United. As with a second choice keeper, it also means that he's not going to cost that much, and for Barcelona it's no real loss when they can afford to attract loads of other goalkeepers from around the world, maybe even De Gea if he doesn't move to PSG. In at number 4 is definitely a move for the Romantics. Personally, I would love to see it happen, pretty much because Peter Schmeichel literally means Manchester United. In the 1990s, he was a stalwart in goal for them and the Big Dane won absolutely everything at Old Trafford. So, wouldn't it be fitting if his son were to take over the mantle? Kasper Schmeichel is currently at Leicester and having won the Premier League there, no offence, but it looks highly unlikely that Leicester are going to challenge for any other trophies, meaning that Kasper won't be winning much in the rest of his career. As for the national team, well, Denmark are a pretty decent side, but again, they're not going to be challenging for any major competitions in the upcoming years. This means that Schmeichel should definitely be moving to Old Trafford to fill in his father's boots. Hey, he might even get his old man's jersey to wear in net as well. As for the likelihood of this happening, well, Leicester aren't exactly strapped for cash, but they're not exactly money bags either, meaning that United probably could come in with a 20 to 30 million pound bid, have enough interest about them to attract the player, and the deal could be sorted pretty quickly. I can't see this happening in January, as lining up a replacement that soon is highly unlikely, but next summer don't be surprised if Schmeichel again adorns the back of a United shirt. And lastly but not least is probably one of the best goalkeepers in the world, if certainly the best goalkeeper on this list. Yet again, Manchester United could be heading back to Atletico Madrid to pick up their latest star goalkeeper in Jan Oblak. The 25-year-old isn't necessarily seen as one of the most attractive options despite his goalkeeping clout. This is because he plays for a team that isn't necessarily bursting on the international stage in Slovenia, and he's also playing at Atletico Madrid, where the opportunities to show yourself as a modern forward-thinking goalkeeper aren't always there. He's more of a tough, physically dominant goalkeeper, and at 6'4" has more than enough to defend the net at Old Trafford. But what about his distribution moving forward? He's nowhere near the likes of David De Gea or Gigi Donnarumma when it comes to that, but I'm sure with a bit of coaching he could certainly get there. As I said, at the age of 25, he's got plenty of years ahead of him. So much like with the younger goalkeepers, if United do have a big outlay for him now, they can definitely count on a return of at least 8 to 10 years in the future. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 goalkeepers who could replace David De Gea at Manchester United should he move on to pastures new. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below whether or not David De Gea will leave, and if so, who will replace him. Make sure to smash the like button whilst you're there, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.